A little bit of legal CBD confused for pot.
His specific words was, "It looks like a duck, it sounds like a duck, it's a duck."
Now his case is exposing a huge flaw in the system that threatens all marijuana cases in Virginia.
The verdict is in. Now it's up to a jury to decide if Michael Brady should be put to death.
And the blue light's about to go out. But you'll want to wait before cashing in on Kmart's closing sales. Those stories and more in moments, but we need to get you up to speed on the weather. Strong storms are moving east and it's making a mess of things. We just got this video out of Arkansas. You can see cars smashed, trees shredded, and power lines down. Now that same system is taking aim at Hampton roads, and it could make for a rough ride home. The threat of severe weather is our top story this Monday night. Thanks for staying up. I'm Nicole Livas.
And I'm David Allen. Tomorrow's storms could impact not only your ride home from work, but your kids' after-school activities as well. Let's bring in the expert to this conversation. The chief's here to time it all out. Jeff.
Yeah, I think the best chance for the stronger storms is going to be later in the day. So maybe affecting some after-work activity or after-school activities, but generally it's going to tend to be more like late afternoon. We'll break it all down for you. Right now there's nothing. Let me actually turn around here though, and you're going to be able to see way out to the west. That is the beginning part of the line. That is the storm system that is moving east. So let's take a look at that. I'll walk over here to the wall and we'll be able to show you all down for you what our most significant threats will be. That's coming up.
Keep the 13 News Now app handy tomorrow. That's where you'll find Jeff's hour-by-hour forecast and live radar. We'll also send out any severe weather alerts if things get rough.
We have two breaking news alerts to share out of Norfolk. First up, someone was stabbed in the Neon District. 13 News Now on West Olney Road near the Exxon. Emergency dispatchers tell us it happened a little after 7 o'clock. The victim should be okay, but the person who did this is still out there tonight. Now to Ward's Corner. Doctors are working to save a woman after she was hit by a car on West Little Creek Road. That happened just before 7:15. The driver did the right thing here, staying on scene. Within the past half hour, police reopened West Little Neck in both directions after they worked to piece together exactly what happened here.
Let's update you now on a story we broke earlier. A jury found Michael Brady guilty on all counts, and it only took them 30 minutes to come to that decision. Brady's one of the inmates accused of killing these 4 prison workers at Pasquotank Correctional Institution.
Prosecutors say it was all part of a botched prison break back in 2017, and Allie Weatherton found out Brady could pay for this with his life.
After the guilty verdict, the sentencing phase started. We heard from a North Carolina state trooper who says Brady shot him 5 times and was convicted of attempting to murder him. We also heard from several of the victims' family members. While that happened, Brady sat there quietly, oftentimes writing on a piece of paper. On the stand, many of the victims' family members became emotional, talking about their loved ones. Justin Smith's mom, Melanie Mathewson, told the court, quote, "Still from this day, I'm waiting for him to walk in the house." A jury found Brady guilty of 4 counts of first-degree murder. Now he faces the death penalty or life in prison without parole. And I'll be back in the courtroom tomorrow morning. The sentencing phase is expected to last a few days. In Manteo, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
All right, you heard Allie mention the death penalty. North Carolina is one of 29 states with capital punishment. Right now, there are more than 140 inmates on North Carolina's death row. 4 of them are local. The last execution in the Tar Heel State was more than a decade ago, 2006. So what's next? 3 other inmates are waiting for their day in court. Seth Frazier, Jonathan Monk, and Wiza Buckman all face first-degree murder charges. They're still waiting to hear when that will happen.
Another trial starts tomorrow, and it could bring justice to the family of an adored pre-K teacher. The mugshots are tough to forget. Edward Shaw will go on trial tomorrow. He and his former lover, Taniqua Cushman, are accused of planning a shooting that left Caroline Hendricks dead. Making this all the more tragic, Hendricks wasn't even the target. Another man she was with at the time was. As for Cushman, she's facing a conspiracy charge. She's set to testify against Shaw.
That brings us to three big stories we're following tonight. The crew of the Abraham Lincoln likely won't be home for Thanksgiving. That's according to an announcement made to the crew and posted on YouTube. No word yet on when the carrier will head to its new home port, San Diego. To Virginia Beach now, and the man convicted of running a cockfighting ring, Rolando Geronimo, will be sentenced tomorrow. Animal Control busted him last year. They found 230 chickens in the Ocean Lakes area. Cops say they found plenty of evidence, including blades and huts for the birds. And more Amtrak service is coming to Hampton Roads, but our partners at Southside Daily reported it's going to take a little time. The plan calls for 4 more trains to D.C. and back from Newport News and Norfolk by 2022. Amtrak's already working out the deal with CSX. They own most of the tracks on that route.
Well, think about the last time you bought something at Kmart. I'm going to guess you're thinking back pretty far. Fact is, there are only 2 left here in Hampton Roads, and both are closing for good. The blue light is going out at the stores in Tab and on South Military Highway in Chesapeake. This shouldn't come as a surprise, though. Sales are falling, and Sears, who owns Kmart, is bankrupt. They're trying to right the ship by closing more than 100 stores across the country. This means everything must go, which could mean you can find a good deal. But before you open your wallet, there are a few tricks to the trade. Here's how you can save some serious cash. First things first, you're not going to get a good deal in the first few days. The experts at Consumer Reports say retailers may charge full price until the inventory clears out. Speaking of inventory, watch out for stuff that's not typically sold at the store. Retailers sometimes hire liquidators. Some of them bring in extra stuff from other stores to supplement liquidation sales. Back to the sales. Waiting for a deal might save you big, but don't wait too long. Once they run out, they're out for good. So don't let the idea of a perfect deal get in the way of a perfectly good discount. Here's something else to keep in mind. Chances are, once you leave the store, you won't be able to return what you bought. For example, when H.H. Gregg liquidated, they limited returns to 7 days and only for items with a latent defect. Finally, use those gift cards before it's too late. The bottom line here, procrastination could pay off, but those deals won't last forever. Well, we like to share good news, and it's an update to a story we brought you 3 weeks ago.
That's when we introduced you to Reginald Jones. He waited 5 years for a new kidney, and he got it just in time for one of the happiest days of his life. Tonight, he's sharing the latest chapter of his story with Chanu Hurd.
I've been, happy.
It's just been a good month, if you ask Reginald Jones.
No downfall, none like that.
This week, he's at home in Chesapeake just taking it easy. But a few weeks ago, he was in the hospital recovering after a kidney transplant.
I feel fine. I feel fine. One thing, I got a problem. I can't talk.
Laughing still comes easy, though, because after waiting 5 years for the transplant, he and his family can't help but be happy he found a match. Ask his daughter, Jordine Lemon Garcia.
It feels really, really great. Just happy with his progress. Looking forward to seeing him actually without the cane and actually walking and getting back to his old self.
Jordine already saw a bit of her dad's old self about a week and a half ago at her wedding, which she was so thankful he got his kidney transplant just in time because, of course, she needed her dad to accompany her down the aisle.
We joked about it prior, like if you can't walk me, we're just gonna push you down the aisle. But he was able to walk, and in the end, he dropped his cane. Like, I didn't need it.
He didn't need it. Reginald agreed with that. Judge for yourself. That's him dancing with Jordine.
I want to do it again.
And that's how they'll dance through all the years to come, remembering what this October brought them. That's such a sweet video there. And in our first story that we did with Reginald and Jordine a couple weeks ago, they tell me reached people from all around the country. So they even got wedding gifts from people outside of Virginia, which is amazing. They saw their registry on Amazon, sent them some gifts and letters, just thanking them for sharing that story because they can just relate to that. So just a sweet story there, and we thank them for sharing that with us.
Certainly a blessing.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Good stuff. All right, you can be the match and save lives. Reginald needed one. Someone else out there does too. We have a link to the National Kidney Registry posted in Chanu's story. You'll find that on 13newsnow.com.
Don't go to bed just yet. We're back with these stories and more in a little more than 2 minutes. Back now with a story that's all new tonight and a question asked in a Virginia courtroom. Can you tell if this is pot or CBD? A state police lab couldn't figure it out either.
Here's the headline. I want you to pay attention to this. A man was charged with having pot on him even though he legally bought a CBD product. Rachel DePompa with the story that's all new tonight.
Mason never thought a fun day trip to a local amusement park could end so badly.
I'm going to King's Dominion.
Determine how much THC is in a product.
Rachel DePompa with that story, and here's how it all played out in court. The state's lab's supervisor testified he couldn't tell if it was pot or just gas station CBD. The judge ultimately tossed the case against Robert. As for the state lab, they say they're still working on a way around this issue. Until then, simple marijuana cases in the Commonwealth may not stand a chance in court.
Back now to our top story. A violent line of storms out west with at least 4 reported tornadoes. An EF3 with 140-mile-an-hour winds struck after dark.
Tonight, that same line of storms, well, it's headed our way. Jeff is here with details.
But big caveat, nowhere near the ferocity that it had out west. Is it conceivable we could have a very, very weak tornado? Possibly, but even that is unlikely. And it's not even sure or certain that we're going to get any severe thunderstorms themselves. So we'll break it down for you. I think the odds are certainly decent.
All right, it was going to happen sooner or later, but now we're ready to say bye-bye to Baby.
We knew the panda at the National Zoo would be heading to China. The zoo is finally letting us in on when. The Smithsonian says Baby will leave November 19th. Whoa, he fell down.
Yeah.
It's part of an agreement with the China Wildlife Conservation Association. Giant pandas born at zoos here have to be sent to China for a breeding program after they turn 4. So that means less videos like this one of Baby struggling to stay in the treetops. Let's check in now on the live panda cam the zoo has set up. Man, I could watch this all day.
Isn't that sweet? Yeah.
The black and white blur of fur on the right side. Yeah, look, that's Baby peacefully sleeping, probably dreaming of bamboo.
And now, the Chevy Sports Report with Scott Cash.
I'm dreaming of cheeseburgers.